Today we are continuing our 19 things that you do that annoys your spouse. We stopped at number 7 the last time, so we're gonna finish finish up the rest of it. And also, can you let us know if you can hear us? That will be great.
Yeah.
If you can give us feedback, okay? But we're gonna continue. How's your day?
So I'm doing very well, and thank you once again for joining us today. And I just want to say that we're excited to be here. It's always a joy to bring to us here some of the things we believe that can help us in our relationship, in our family, in our home, because we believe that the family is where we prepare ourselves and just continue to have a better life. That's where we spend most of our time. So there is need for us to invest in our family, and that's why we just believe as godly families we need to put in the work and not just say because we're godly people that things will just work out. So join us today. Like we said, things you do you may not know that annoys your spouse. So let's dive in. And honey, before we go ahead, I would just like you to highlight some of those ones that we have mentioned, and we're not going to repeat some of the things we've said. We just want to highlight them, and you can go back and watch those videos. Do you have them?
No.
Okay. That's fine. The things you do that you may not know that. Okay, so number 1 is acting like you are okay when you are not. Sweeping things under the carpet. We talked about it last week. Number 2, refusing to compromise, right?
Yeah.
And number 3, asking about the other ladies or other men physical appearance in front of your spouse. That could really provoke something. Dizzying your body. Yeah. So can you just mention that? I think we talked about it last week, and we were saying that dizzying your body in a way.
Yeah, just disrespecting your body and not taking care of your body.
Absolutely. Also, we have number 5, making major purchases without agreeing with your spouse. That's number 5. Number 6, being selfish and acting like your spouse does not make or have feelings too, like you're just the only one that is who have the feeling or who needs to be taken care of. Losing things, and this one was a funny one, just like you lose everything that you have. And number 8 is shaking on your phone when your spouse is talking to you. And also we talked about,
this is where we stopped. We stopped at losing things, which is number 7. So we're gonna talk about number 8, checking on your phone. Oh yeah, we did talk about checking on your phone.
I believe
when your spouse is talking to you.
Yeah.
So I think we have mentioned this sometime in one of our videos with effective communication. When you're having a quality time with your spouse, you want to be able to remove every distraction. Distraction can be television, it can be smartphones, it can be anything that is not your spouse at that time. It can be your children. Distract them or let them be out of the zone so that you can have a meaningful conversation. Sometimes some people find it as disrespectful, and you may not know. You may think, oh, you're listening, but you may not know that you are not listening.
And in addition to that, we also talked about you just ignoring your spouse. Maybe both of you were talking, having a conversation, and all of a sudden a friend or like a colleague at a job call, and you start talking to that person, and you just make your spouse begin to feel like you go for a long time on that call without recognizing that, oh, honey, you can be on the phone and be like, or put it on the mute and be like, I'm sorry, baby, let me just get through this call. That would really make your spouse know that you care about their feelings.
All right, number Number 9, organizing things to a point where nothing can be found. So I am an organizer. I like things very clean. I like to keep them very neat. On the other hand, I think he's an organizer, but he likes his things kept in a certain way. But I like it kept in the, just very organized. I want everything clean at every particular time. So most times I go ahead to help him clean out, and I probably mess up everything because he likes his thing to be kept
in a perfect,
and I might lose things. So make sure that you understand that with your spouse, and you're able to communicate that, with that part of organization.
Yeah, it could be frustrating for you as a spouse or as a wife. You want to help your husband, just help them take care of things, and without, knowing that, like, take for instance, like she said, I would like to fold my clothes in a certain way. So you folding my clothes, not doing it perfectly the way I want it, could be like, oh, honey, thank you. I have to, or I may have to redo it again. Or, just like my wife already said. So go ahead, baby.
The next one is number 10, leaving your spouse out when you go out to hang out with your friends. I think it's kind of similar with what he said about the phone call.
Right.
Don't ignore your spouse. Even when you're all out hanging out with other people, ensure that you understand that you came together.
Right.
Don't leave your spouse out and just because you see your friends.
Absolutely. So the next one is correcting your spouse, while driving. Overcorrection, just making them uncomfortable to be, like I used to do that, and
you still do. It's annoying.
I still do.
Sometimes. Sometimes I don't want to drive just because I know that I'm about to go into a driving lesson that someone. And one time I spoke with one of my friends about this, and she said she thought she was alone because it seems like her husband is the same thing the way my husband does. It's just more like they think they can help. They don't want us to get in trouble, or you don't want us to get accident. Why are you trying to be overprotective?
Okay.
Like, I can drive by myself comfortably without, honey, make it right, make it right, do
Am
this,
I the one
all
that
of that
don't
stuff.
make it right or make
Sometimes
it left?
you'll be like, slow down.
No.
There's a traffic light. Oh, this, all of that.
Baby.
Why do you guys do that?
Okay, I'm just being caring to my wife.
Caring.
Because if I remember about who says, oh, turn, oh, you missed the turn, something like that. Well, we'll talk about that. Remember, there was a rule for this video, not to point fingers.
Okay, no problem.
So part of this whole thing is just caring and making sure that, the proper, I'll say proper instructions on how to drive, not instructions, I'm looking for the right word to fit in the proper way.
You see what I told you guys?
No, honey.
He's trying to give me instruction for driving lessons.
No, baby, you know exactly what I'm saying. Take for instance, you are making in our street. Street normally in a residential area is 25, and when you start like, I'd be like, baby, take it easy. Take it easy. You are, just bring in a reminder. Yeah, just bring into consciousness where you are and how you should, drive. I don't think, for me, if you tell me that, I'll be like, oh, okay, honey, thank you for, reminding me, because there are kids and things like that. So it's not like.
It's not just that part. It's just the fact that we feel like you guys want to hear so much. Some guys.
Okay.
That think that their wives they drive better than their wives. So because of that, they always want to protect.
I'll make a promise today. From today, wherever we're going,
we don't need promise. They will not understand that.
No.
I don't want to drive. I don't want to drive. I don't want to drive. I don't like driving.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I only drive when I have to, especially when I have to travel. That's the only time I like to drive. As long as you're available, you can do the driving.
No.
Yes.
I want you to drive more often.
That's not gonna work.
So that I can test my patience.
No.
All right, let's go ahead.
acting like he doesn't know how to do basic chores or that part. I mean, my husband is an expert actually in doing things around the house, so I don't act like he doesn't know how to do it. But I'm sure sometimes in families where the husband doesn't do much, the wife does more of everything.
Right.
You see, maybe a way where you kind of make them feel like they can't even get to boil water.
Right.
Or something. So
Right.
allow them to help out as much, even if when they get it wrong. Just appreciate them for even trying. You know.
Yeah, and this is really important to me, and I need to speak to mostly our African brothers, right? You used to be a bachelor, a single person, taking care of yourself. Sometimes you even cook, or most times you cook. You were doing some of the things. And we believe in this ideology that once you marry a woman, that's the end of you engaging or involving yourselves in some household, things that you can just help around. I've heard people say, "Oh, if I go into the kitchen to cook, my mom will say things, or my kinsman will, characterize me as, woman rapper and things like that." That is just awful to hear when people begin to reason this way. You used to be a single person, so you used to go out there to take care of yourself and find something to eat. When you get married, it's not just up to your wife. It's not like that's her duty all the time to always go in the kitchen. Sometimes it's not a bad idea for you to go in, do some grilling, go and do some cooking, and that just makes the family continue to grow and do well.
Your wife appreciates it. On behalf of the Wives Association,
Right.
we appreciate all the help that we can get
Yeah.
around the house.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, baby.
The next one is getting upset when tests aren't immediately returned.
Okay.
I mean, who does it annoy? Does it annoy the receiver, or does it annoy the person who is supposed to send the test?
Well, let's remove sentiment. Let's remove those who are guilty here in this. So
Amen.
remember, I need to remind you again that this is something that we agreed on to talk about.
We're not pointing fingers, right? I was just asking a question.
Yeah.
In a way, this annoys somebody, but it says getting annoyed when tests are not immediately.
It's self-explanatory. When you send a text and your spouse is not getting back quickly or has not responded to you, you get annoyed. Not the other way around, because sometimes people get angry, get frustrated without even knowing if the person they are angry about is okay, if they are safe wherever they are. So it's important for us to really be patient and wait until we get a response. And the first thing should be, are you okay?
Why didn't you pick up my call?
That's always the normal if that's your pattern, to get angry and get upset without knowing what exactly is going on with your spouse.
All right. What is the next one, baby?
So where did you stop? You stopped at number 12 or number 13. So number 14 is monitoring your spouse like a monitoring spirit, right? Just being nosy and just not allowing your spouse to breathe, to be themselves. And sometimes we need to really give each other space to be human and just express yourself. Allow your spouse to express themselves, and not just like you are on them, on their case, or you are there to fix them, or you are there to correct them at all times. Give your spouse grace. And it could also get into not just allow your wife to relate with their friends. When your spouse friends or a friend comes around, you want to be in their conversation, that could be very annoying. Your wife or your husband may not know exactly how to express that so that it wouldn't look like they are hiding something, but you may not know that that could annoy them. So just give your wife, give your husband space sometimes when they have like a friend, as long as it's not a friend that may be very concerning to have around. Take for instance those who will influence your spouse negatively. If I happens to be going out with somebody whose lifestyle is a little bit opposite of mine, and their beliefs and faith and all of that is just contrary to what I believe, I think you should give my wife a consign, to be like, hey honey, I'm not comfortable with this person, how much time you are investing. So that's
that's good. The next one is talking about your past relationship in an awkward way. I know, yes, as married couples, these are part of the things you're supposed to share with your partner,
right,
with your spouse, about your relationships. I mean, sometimes people don't necessarily want to, but sometimes it's part of being vulnerable on your relationships, the people you met prior to meeting your spouse and stuff. But there are some ways that you can express these things that would be a little concerning to your spouse, because now these are past people, and you should not try to make your spouse feel like you made a bad choice. Like you're saying, oh, the first guy that I dated, I loved him so much, I didn't even know that I would ever love anyone else. I'm sure that if you said things like that, it could really be bringing some sort of insecurity in your spouse. So we should just be very careful about that.
It could just be more like things that they know how to do well. It could be like they used to cook well, and you'll be like, oh my goodness, I miss her cooking. I miss her food. I miss the way she does this or she does that. So these are things we really want to pay attention and be careful how we put those words out, because they could be very hurting without you knowing that you're hurting your spouse.
Yeah, so we've actually talked about number 17 and 16 and 17. 16, we say ignoring your spouse, and then number 17 is talking on a long phone call without acknowledging your spouse. So the next one we want to share is calling out your spouse in public to speak when you have not asked them.
Right. I used to do that, or I've done that, a couple of times when we got married. As a leader in my church, always, engaging in some kind of public speaking, and sometimes I go out with my wife without discussing it with my wife.
Come on, greet the audience.
I say, I have the most beautiful woman on earth.
The audience.
She's a. I just want to, show off my wife and
come and say hello to the people in the house, in the church.
Right.
And then your wife will not carry the microphone. Hi, everyone. Oh, gosh.
Yes. But, it's not like it's not good for you to expose your wife or encourage your spouse to come out in public and things. This should be something personal. It's something that you've already discussed about, and not just like you throwing them out there. They may feel like you are just trying to embarrass them, and sometimes that could be the other way around, that you will be the one embarrassed because you didn't tell them.
Yeah,
they
may not
ignore,
even want to get up,
and you will get upset. Oh, you disrespected me in front of the audience. Well, in the first place, you started the embarrassment. So we need to pay attention to things like this, and just make sure that we have this kind of conversation earlier on before just getting out to bring in your wife out.
And the last one is discussing your spouse with your friends without their consent, or discussing things that you and your spouse have talked about without their consent.
Right. That's That's a big one.
Yeah,
maybe.
that's a big one. That could actually cause a problem in the relationship, really. Let's say you go on a dinner, you go to a dinner and you have your friends sitting at the table, and there's some sort of conversation that got up and you decided to share, and your spouse is uncomfortable about that topic, especially if it has to do with intimate conversation. I think it's something to really watch out for.
Right. Yeah, that could be very provocating, in a way that
Annoying.
in a way that,
Embarrassing.
yeah, so in a way that you say some things, or maybe there was a quarrel between you and your spouse, and all of a sudden you are giving an example. Oh, the other day, my wife
Oh
and
my
I,
God.
we had some arguments and things like that. That could
Wow, it's
really
really
go wrong,
disrespectful.
and you were just trying to cite an example, right? You didn't mean to embarrass them. From all honesty, you were just trying to engage in the conversation. So you really need to watch out the things you bring out, or even discussing with your friend. What your wife does or your husband does that you don't
You
like.
don't like.
Those are important conversations that you need to keep in the house, except if it is life threatening. Then it's not something to hide. You need to seek for help in the appropriate way. But as for like maybe you guys had a conversation or something and is already out. In fact, there are people who would take their conversation, a conversation you had with your spouse, to go outside to get a second opinion, whereas it's not something that both of you has agreed on to really open up to other people getting involved into it. That could also bring a very challenging situation in your marriage. So tell us if you have any other thing that that could annoy your spouse, and we like
That
to.
annoys your spouse that
Yeah,
you're still
yeah,
doing.
yeah.
If any of these topics that we said touched on you, please
Yeah.
don't take it hard. But
Yeah. Just
do the right thing.
see how you can begin to fix it. Just work on it, and tell your spouse, I'm work in progress. I'm
Yeah,
not
we are working
perfect.
part. Yeah.
So if there is something that is something about me that is annoying you, we want to watch out and just make sure that we continue to start
Yeah,
making
communication.
changes and making amends. What we don't want to do is to make it become part of us. So I know one that I don't know if other people, maybe, like some people get so angry when you fart on your spouse. Yeah, some people will be like, what is this?
Well, that's what you signed up for.
Really?
Really? Yes, you signed up for farting.
Together.
Yes, every family that farts together strives together.
So this is so funny. A friend of mine called me and said, they were talking. This is a personal conversation, so I'm not mentioning that, but it's so funny. The wife of my friend said to me, if I die, just know that your friend has used fat to kill me. Well, it's so funny, but watch out what you give into your wife or your husband. So that could also be
I
part
don't know
of
why
the
he's
fat
looking at me like this.
production.
I like to fart. Is it a bad thing?
We are not pointing fingers.
You're looking at me.
I'm wondering in this life if anybody will say I like
I like to fart.
Well, good for you, baby.
Leave me, Gary.
Well, it's been just a good time with you all. Anytime you see this video or you watch this video, let us know what you know or what you've experienced that annoy you as a spouse, or annoy your spouse that you didn't really know until it came out. So we're just saying that these are things we can fix before letting it get out of hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. I hope you do have a wonderful rest of your day. Join us again next Sunday. Again, our names are Chandy and Martin, and thank you all for joining. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.